Hello, my name's Chris Harden. I'm an audio consultant here with PS Audio. Sitting down with Chris Brunhaver today, talking about a few questions that we wanted to bring up and have some chats. So I got a couple questions for you today, Chris. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. We're going to talk speakers. That's always a good day. So
that is a good day.
Yeah.
So with the FR30s and the Aspen series, how did you approach the balance between aesthetics and performance in the FR30 or Aspen series design? And what challenges did you encounter with this balance?
Yeah, actually, designing speakers, for me, the cosmetics are the hardest part. But I've said before, I think that it's not a speaker until it actually makes it through your front door and into your house and starts making music. So job number one is it's got to be able to live in somebody's home.
What it looks like and what it sounds like.
Yeah, but everybody's home is different. You might have very traditional home. You might have very modern. You might have, I got, Japanese style stuff. So how do you make a product that fits into a bunch of homes? And you can't please everyone, is what I've found out. So we get a lot of positive comments. We get some negative comments too about cosmetics because it is so personal.
Yeah.
And I liken it to buying cars too, where you make this performance thing, but people sort of ego associate with, what kind of guy am I? Am I a Corvette guy? Am I am I a Jaguar guy? Am I a Lamborghini? Or what am I? Like, how do I see myself in the product too? And people are very design focused, a lot more than I thought even coming into this project. Because in my previous part of my career was designing components mostly and not start to finish, including the cosmetics. And so that was, we brought in an outside design team and a great group of guys up in Ottawa, Canada area called Studio 63. Paul has mentioned on some videos, but they do consumer products. They have done hi-fi products for a number of companies. And so they understand some of the design constraints. They sort of have one or both hands tied behind their back because I'm like, hey, we need to have this amount of air volume and it's got to have this smooth radius front surface without any disturbances. And we have to have these acoustic features that dominate what they can do. And, inside the box, there's a ton of engineering with how we do the mechanicals and bracing and making sure that this is a great speaker box. But their concept was, it's not everyone's cup of tea, but we did a floating design. So we came up with this design that looks, has a rounded bottom and a base that looks like it's lifted off the ground. And that was the concept. Hadn't seen it done very much. So part of doing a high-end product is also, it's got to not be a me too. It's got to be something unique, something identifiable.
Which certainly happened with the Aspen series.
Yeah, I mean, for better or worse, it has its own look, but it still has to be very, very functional. So those are some of the constraints. We were in our case, we wanted something scalable because we're not just going to make one statement piece. We wanted to be able to make things at lower price points. So sometimes these design ideas that people will have is really great for a single unit, but you can't really make a line out of it.
Sure.
That's part of the reason, in a functional way, we moved away from looking at large line source type speakers. Like Paul loved the IRS 5s and these giant arrays, but as soon as you start trying to truncate those, performance is not good. Same with a lot of cosmetic designs. You can have something that's great for a single piece, but we're scaling things all the way down to a stand mount monitor and to smaller towers and things.
And where they can be, fit in a living room rather than a dedicated listening room. Both applications. Right?
Yeah, and our customer, I think, is someone that is mostly not in dedicated spaces. Some of our customers have dedicated rooms, but it's mostly a great room, family room, multi-purpose room. So it has to be something that can integrate into your home. And so it's a tall order. But I think we've come up with something that is, it's a pretty conventional box. The other thing is, we've done things with the materials, like we've done this cast resin front panel and aluminum and all the stuff to try to make the material part of it really sturdy and high performance.
Yeah.
But from an outside perspective, it's a rectangular box. So we're not reinventing the wheel there. But that's a great shape. It's something that's very manufacturable and where it's important from an acoustic standpoint around the mid and tweeter, we have very smooth, contours to make the directivity smooth. Because with the speaker, hard edges create these diffraction effects, especially when you're very close to drive units or the wavelengths are small and high frequency. So you want to have this smooth, rounded shape many times. I mean, it has to be tested. It's not just smooth and round, but you have all of this stuff matters, and you can't just have an arbitrary shape and alignment of drive units and stuff. And
has to be functional in the acoustic format.
Right. So it was those two things,
Yeah.
and it was a multi-year project to work through all of that.
And many design changes.
Yeah, and it's something where there's a little bit of taste testing involved here, where it's nice if you can just look at it in the CAD system and say, yeah, we love this, we're going to build it. But then when you actually see it in person, it can be a very different experience. There's a kind of visceral reaction to looking at something, seeing it in the flesh,
right?
And it's also something where Paul is my customer. I've got to make something that Paul and the team here loves.
Absolutely.
And so it was a pretty high bar.
Yeah. But it came out wonderful.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's something where I'm excited for the future of PS audio speakers and sharing this with people, and people follow along our journey and see where we've gone. And it's been a lot of behind the scenes for guys that are on the forum and have seen there's 10,000 posts about the early designs of things, and it's like, it's kind of a unique look at how this stuff gets built.
Yeah, and the evolution, right?
Yeah.
All right.